There are three questions Jesus will ask everyone on Judgment Day. You will go through job interviews and ask questions on certain academic tests or problems. But those are nothing compared to the three questions asked by Jesus. And your answers to those questions will determine one thing: heaven or hell. In a moment, we will get to those three questions. The overall scene evokes a sense of profound solitude and defenselessness. A radiant throne symbolizes the presence and authority of Jesus. The throne represents Jesus as the righteous judge. The radiant glow signifies divine power and justice. The distant location emphasizes the throne's transcendent nature. The figure's tears symbolize the profound emotional burden of impending judgment. Standing alone on the plain, the figure embodies isolation in the face of unavoidable consequences. The inevitability of judgment is visually represented through the figure's static posture and downward gaze. The weight of realization manifests as a visible burden, expressed through the figure's slumped shoulders. A figure embodies collective awareness, expressing deep sorrow. The weeping signifies an understanding of the implications of an impending judgment. Collective awareness acknowledges the gravity of future consequences. The figure's tears symbolize the weight of responsibility for the coming judgment. Understanding the judgment evokes profound emotional response. The impending judgment carries significant implications for all. The first question, "What did you do with my son?" highlights the significance of a personal relationship with Jesus. This question emphasizes the importance of individual accountability regarding one's relationship with Jesus. The query underscores the direct and personal nature of faith. The question serves as a reminder of the central role of Jesus in personal spiritual journeys. This inquiry prompts reflection on individual actions and their impact on one's spiritual path. Empty hands symbolize the limitations of human effort in atoning for sin. Good deeds, while valuable, are insufficient to achieve complete atonement. Human actions alone cannot fully satisfy the requirements for spiritual reconciliation. The concept emphasizes the need for something beyond human capability to achieve atonement. This highlights the inadequacy of human-centric solutions for fundamental spiritual problems. The offering of good deeds is presented as incomplete without divine intervention. Blood droplets symbolize Jesus' sacrifice. This sacrifice serves as atonement for sin. The sacrifice is considered the only sufficient atonement. Atonement is achieved through this singular act of sacrifice. Religious attendance does not guarantee a genuine relationship with Jesus. Formal religious service is not a substitute for personal spiritual connection. A true relationship with Jesus transcends physical presence in a religious setting. Authentic faith requires a direct, personal connection with Jesus Christ. The essence of faith lies in the individual's relationship with Jesus, not in the act of religious service. An open heart symbolizes the act of surrender and trust. The open heart represents a willingness to form a personal bond. This bond is sought by Jesus, reflecting a desire for intimate connection. The act of opening one's heart signifies vulnerability and acceptance in faith. The welcoming arms symbolize Jesus' acceptance. These arms represent an invitation to those who surrender their hearts. Surrendering one's heart signifies a complete offering of oneself. Acceptance through surrender leads to spiritual embrace and belonging. Joyful light symbolizes the transition into eternal joy. This entrance signifies a reward for faithful service. The light represents a gateway to an everlasting state of happiness. Eternal joy is depicted as a state of perfect peace and contentment. An open door symbolizes the enduring offer of mercy. The offer of mercy remains available as long as one lives. The open door represents an ongoing opportunity for redemption. Mercy is perpetually accessible while life continues. The second question, what did you do with what I gave you, introduces the concept of stewardship. Stewardship involves the responsible management and utilization of entrusted resources. The inquiry implies an expectation of accountability for the use of provided resources. Resources can encompass tangible assets, skills, opportunities, and time. Effective stewardship maximizes the value and impact of resources. Failure to properly manage resources can lead to loss and diminished potential. The parable of the talents explores the themes of faithful investment and the consequences of neglecting one's gifts. Faithful servants invest their talents, leading to increased wealth and greater responsibility. Investing talents involves risk-taking and diligent effort to achieve a return. Burying talents represents fear, stagnation, and a failure to utilize one's potential. Neglecting talents results in their loss and missed opportunities for growth. The parable emphasizes the importance of actively developing and utilizing one's abilities. Faithful stewardship results in the multiplication of various gifts. Time, talents, money, influence, and energy are represented as key resources. The multiplication symbolizes the amplified impact of responsible resource management. The concept illustrates the potential for growth through effective stewardship. Gifts, symbolizing talents and opportunities, are visually represented as wrapped packages. The act of burying these gifts signifies the neglect or abandonment of potential. Fear and laziness are the underlying causes of burying these gifts. Failure to utilize these gifts hinders the growth and prosperity of the kingdom. The act of burying gifts represents a failure to contribute to a greater purpose. The weight of a heart symbolizes the value of inner intentions and dedication. True value lies in the sincerity of actions, not merely the scale of accomplishments. Dedication and intention are immeasurable qualities that hold significant worth. A focus on inner qualities outweighs external achievements in spiritual significance. The essence of an action is determined by the purity of the intention behind it. Spiritual assessment emphasizes the unseen dedication rather than visible outcomes. Even minor acts of faithfulness hold significance. Small, dedicated efforts are valuable. Consistent small actions accumulate to produce substantial results. Every contribution, regardless of size, has an impact. Small acts of dedication are celebrated. Personal gain can obscure the importance of the overall mission. Focusing on individual rewards can diminish the collective objective. A willing heart is essential for maintaining focus on the primary mission. The pursuit of individual benefit can compromise the integrity of the mission. True impact originates from dedication, not the platform used. A willing heart symbolizes the inner drive and commitment necessary for meaningful contribution. Dedication fuels the power to create significant change, regardless of external resources. Focus on inner motivation and commitment to maximize positive influence. The third question, how did you treat my little ones, introduces the theme of compassion. Love and compassion are central to this inquiry. The question implies a responsibility towards vulnerable individuals. The inquiry focuses on the quality of treatment received by the vulnerable. The question emphasizes the importance of empathy and understanding. The theme of love and compassion is presented as a fundamental moral imperative. Orphans represent a segment of the population lacking parental support and care. Widows often face economic hardship and social isolation following the loss of their spouses. Immigrants can experience vulnerability due to language barriers, cultural differences, and legal uncertainties. Prisoners and the sick are vulnerable populations, often facing systemic neglect and limited access to resources. Treating the vulnerable with compassion is presented as an act of love towards Jesus. Jesus identifies himself with the vulnerable, emphasizing their inherent worth and dignity. Showing kindness to the vulnerable is equated to showing kindness to Jesus himself. This concept highlights the importance of empathy and care for those in need. Ignoring the vulnerable equates to ignoring a representation of compassion and empathy. Indifference towards the vulnerable carries significant consequences. Vulnerability, when ignored, leads to a diminishment of shared humanity. The act of neglecting the vulnerable has repercussions on a spiritual or moral level. Empathy and action are essential in addressing the needs of the vulnerable. Loving the vulnerable is presented as an act of loving Jesus. This perspective emphasizes the connection between compassion and faith. Acts of kindness towards the vulnerable are equated with acts of devotion. This concept highlights the spiritual significance of caring for those in need. Showing love when it is inconvenient highlights the element of sacrifice. True compassion often involves personal cost and discomfort. Inconvenient love demonstrates a willingness to prioritize others' needs over one's own. The essence of inconvenient love lies in its selfless nature and disregard for personal ease. Selfless service involves providing assistance without expecting any form of repayment. The act of helping those who cannot repay symbolizes pure altruism and compassion. Unrepayable assistance fosters a cycle of goodwill and positive social impact. Such service transcends transactional relationships, focusing on intrinsic value. The motivation behind selfless service is driven by empathy and a desire to alleviate suffering. Helping those who can never repay strengthens community bonds and promotes social cohesion. Serving in secret emphasizes genuine humility over public recognition. True humility is demonstrated through actions performed without seeking external validation. Secret service highlights the intrinsic value of the act itself, rather than the perceived reward. The focus shifts from outward praise to inward satisfaction when serving in secret. Genuine humility values the act of service more than the recognition received. True love is portrayed as an active and costly endeavor. Genuine compassion is a fundamental element of true love. Sacrifice is an essential aspect of demonstrating true love. True love requires both emotional investment and tangible actions. The central criterion for judgment is love, transcending worldly achievements. Love is depicted as the ultimate measure, surpassing material success and social status. Judgment is based on acts of love, not earthly accomplishments. Love is the sole determinant in the final division. Loving others in their brokenness is an expression of faith. This love is depicted as loving Jesus, emphasizing the spiritual connection. The act of loving the broken is a practical manifestation of faith. Showing compassion to those in need reflects core religious values. This love transcends superficial appearances, focusing on inner healing. Indifference to the suffering of others results in separation. Apathy creates a barrier preventing connection and empathy. Ignoring brokenness leads to isolation and spiritual distance. Lack of compassion has consequences for both the sufferer and the indifferent. Choosing to ignore suffering diminishes one's own spiritual well-being. The individual is prompted to engage in introspection. Self-assessment involves evaluating one's internal state and past actions. Inward reflection facilitates self-awareness and personal growth. Contemplation of personal values forms the basis for ethical decision-making. Understanding one's motivations is crucial for aligning actions with intentions. Confidence in answering reflects a genuine belief in the truth being conveyed. Faith is demonstrated through unwavering conviction and trust in the underlying principles. Stewardship involves responsibly managing and protecting the knowledge being shared. Love manifests as a genuine desire to share wisdom and uplift others through understanding. Receiving Jesus symbolizes establishing a personal relationship with the divine. This act represents an individual's willingness to surrender to a higher power. The gesture of open hands signifies acceptance and vulnerability. It embodies the concept of spiritual awakening and transformation. This relationship is often characterized by faith, hope, and love. The act of receiving Jesus is a personal and transformative journey. Surrendering one's life to Jesus symbolizes a commitment of faith and obedience. This act represents a willingness to relinquish control and trust in divine guidance. It signifies a dedication to follow the teachings and principles of Jesus. The surrender embodies a transformation towards a life of purpose and spiritual fulfillment. Faithful stewardship involves the responsible management of one's talent. Stewardship also encompasses the careful use of available resources. Responsible stewardship requires thoughtful planning and diligent execution. Effective stewardship leads to growth, sustainability, and positive impact. Deep love is visually represented through acts of compassion. Service to others embodies the essence of profound love. Compassion is a key component of deeply loving His little ones. The visual representation of deep love emphasizes care and support. Serving others is a manifestation of deeply felt affection and dedication. Visuals communicate the abstract concept of deep love through symbolic imagery. The open door of mercy symbolizes continuous opportunities for repentance and transformation. This door represents an ongoing invitation to seek forgiveness and embrace positive change. The concept of mercy implies an enduring chance to correct past actions and improve oneself. Repentance involves acknowledging errors and actively pursuing a path of betterment. Transformation signifies a profound shift in character, leading to a more virtuous state. The open door of mercy serves as a constant reminder of hope and the potential for renewal. Grace, in its essence, surpasses the weight and burden of guilt. This principle offers a foundation for hope and the possibility of forgiveness. The concept emphasizes the potential for redemption and renewal, regardless of past actions. It suggests that the power of grace can overcome even the deepest feelings of remorse. The concept of beginning a new answer represents the potential for change and renewal. Transformation is symbolized through the emergence of a new solution from previous challenges. Redemption is visually represented as a transition from darkness to light. The possibility of a fresh start offers a chance to overcome past mistakes and create a better future. The new answer resonates indefinitely, symbolizing the perpetual consequences of choices. Faith-based decisions create enduring legacies that extend beyond immediate outcomes. Stewardship reflects responsible management, leaving a positive, lasting imprint. Acts of love generate ripples of influence that continue to expand and affect future generations. The combined impact of faith, stewardship, and love creates an eternal echo. A personal relationship with Jesus is essential for spiritual connection. This relationship is visually represented as a connected heart, symbolizing love and devotion. The connected heart signifies a deep, personal bond with Jesus. Maintaining this connection fosters spiritual growth and fulfillment. Stewardship of time involves the responsible and effective management of one's time resources. Effective time management includes prioritizing tasks based on importance and urgency. Calendars and schedules are essential tools for planning and organizing time effectively. Time blocking is a strategy where specific time slots are allocated for particular tasks. Procrastination can hinder effective time management and reduce overall productivity. Utilizing time wisely leads to increased productivity, reduced stress, and improved overall well-being. Talents encompass a diverse range of abilities, including musical, artistic, and practical skills. Talent development involves nurturing and refining inherent abilities through practice and education. Effective talent stewardship focuses on utilizing skills for the benefit of others and the greater good. The responsible use of talents contributes to community enrichment and positive societal impact. Stewardship of talents involves a continuous cycle of learning, application, and positive contribution. Acts of kindness provide essential support to vulnerable populations. Service towards the needy strengthens community bonds and fosters mutual respect. Compassionate action alleviates suffering and promotes well-being. Providing aid to those in need is a fundamental expression of human empathy. Engaging in acts of service cultivates a more just and equitable society. Forgiveness is visually represented by the breaking of chains, symbolizing release from past burdens. Redemption is symbolized by light shining through the broken chains, representing hope and renewal. The visual metaphor of breaking chains and emerging light signifies the transformative power of forgiveness and redemption. The transition from darkness to light illustrates the journey from burden to liberation through forgiveness. Choices made in faith initiate a ripple effect, influencing future events. Acts of stewardship create a cascade of positive outcomes. Expressions of love generate an expanding sphere of influence. The combined impact of faith, stewardship, and love creates an enduring legacy. The all-knowing gaze symbolizes comprehensive awareness and understanding. Accountability is emphasized through the concept of divine judgment. Truth is presented as an unwavering and absolute standard. The gaze implies constant observation and evaluation of actions. Divine judgment serves as a moral compass, guiding behavior. The concept underscores the importance of integrity and ethical conduct. The conclusion symbolizes hope, suggesting a positive outlook. New beginnings represent the opportunity for growth and transformation. Reinforcing the message of grace emphasizes the benevolence of new opportunities. Hope is visually represented as a beacon of light in darkness. The symbol of new beginnings signifies a fresh start and renewed potential. Opportunity is portrayed as an open door leading to a bright future.